anymore. All right, let's
No,
get
that's
started.
there.
Football fans, welcome to the NFL Week 11 recap roundtable. We got Omar Yusuf and NFG, who's apparently in the gym or just committed a crime. What are the two? How are you guys doing?
Good, man. Good. Yeah, we just
Nice.
ran a train on the Minnesota Vikings. So. Oh my god.
Ooh, let's keep it
Oh.
PG or at least PG 13. All right, we'll get to that game, but we're going to go ahead and start with the Atlanta Falcons beating the Chicago Bears 27 to 24. What did you guys see in this game?
Go for it, away. Well, I saw Kyle Pitts get injured, I guess, unfortunately, and I feel like that was a waste of a season. But hey, they won the game, and like I said, like on the preview or I think the recap last week, the Bears, man, like Justin Fields is doing all these great things, but they're just not a good team. Like they're just not, and I think the Falcons is interesting, man. That division race is kind of shaping up where you have like I feel like the Buccaneers are a much better team than the Falcons, but the Falcons might win the division. Like or at least they're going to push them for it. Which is we all want Brady out of the playoffs. So let's hope that's what we get. But yeah, that was kind of my main takeaway. Also, Cordero Patterson might be the greatest kick returner of all time. Not punt returner, but the greatest kick returner. I think he tied the record for most kick returns in history. So
Yeah,
that was something else I took away.
that was very significant. Yeah. Naif, what'd you see?
Yeah, I also saw Kyle Pitts get injured, and I also saw him play, which is weird because I felt like he's been injured all year. He's looked like absolute crap. I don't know if that's Mariota or whatever it is, but I also noticed that this Falcons team can be really good with a quarterback. They're just a quarterback away. They got a talented running game. They have pass catchers in Pitts and London, these other guys. I'm gonna have to piggyback what Weiss said about Patterson. I think he is the greatest kick returner of all time. Bears look good too, man. Justin Fields looks dangerous. I think he's gonna be really good going forward. And yeah, just a good win for the Falcons.
Yeah, whenever I watch both of these teams, I have no idea how they win games because neither of them are complete teams to me. To be honest with you, the Falcons' offense, especially now without Kyle Pitts, they weren't even using him before, but they just don't seem like a coherent offense. I mean, they do have a running game and they do have some good pass blocking, but most of it is just pretty average. And the same thing with the Bears. Now that Khalil Herbert is out, they're just leveraging Fields and Montgomery, but Fields is not a great passer. That's why they lose all these games. They can't do it when it matters, and they traded all their defensive players. So I think these are both just kind of meh teams that played each other, and one team had to come out on top. And there was another matchup of the meh teams that we're going to talk about later. So we'll move on to the Buffalo Bills beating the Cleveland Browns 31 to 23. This was a little bit closer than I thought it would be, or actually a lot closer than I thought it would be. What did you guys think of this game?
Man, I thought Amari Cooper was great. Every time I see the Browns play, I get a little pissed off. And we gave this guy up for a first round. Yeah, but the Bills was a bounce back game for the Bills. They didn't look too great, to be honest. I mean, I felt like Josh Allen hasn't been himself since the injury. But they needed this win more than ever, and they got it done. That's what I saw. So I'm going to give the Bills the major props here. I think everything they were dealing with, all of the off-the-field type things that they were dealing with the weather and the travel and the uncertainty, I think, I forgot who it was, but one of the players said that he had to walk like 20 blocks in the snow to get to the car that was going to take him to the airport. So for them to deal with that, I think they deserve a lot of credit. And I think that did play a little bit, some role here in kind of keeping this game closer. But the one thing I'll disagree with you, Naif, on is I do think that Josh Allen has looked exactly like Josh Allen. I think he's a high variance player, you know. And what I mean by that is when he's high, he's very high. But then like the past few games, he's made some of these decisions and some of these throws where you're just like, bro, what are you doing? And it cost them in the Minnesota game. Um, and I think he had a couple of throws on Sunday. It didn't really cost him, so like it's no big deal. Um, but that's something that I noticed, and I also noticed Begnies, your guy Cook, is out there looking like the best running back on the team. So that kind of jumped out to me.
Absolutely. Yeah. On that note, I think this year should be a sign for coaches in the future to instantly use their rookie running backs when the season starts. A lot of them are reversed to doing that. Same thing with Andy Reid in Kansas City. It's not until now that he's using Pacheco. Pacheco finally had that 100-yard game. We'll talk about that later. But absolutely, these rookie running backs should be used early in the season when they're still fresh and they can still give you a lot of production. So I agree with that. The fact that the Bills, you're right, that even played this game at all with those conditions. There were, players posting videos on Instagram of them being buried in the snow, and they were able to get out to the game. And then they're also going to play against Detroit on Thursday. So it's like there's like a lot of stability for them now. They have those 2 straight games in Detroit. Yeah, to me, the Cleveland Browns looked like they could compete here. I was pretty surprised. Like they're very scrappy. Like I said, Donovan Peoples-Jones continues to ascend as a great number 2 receiver, along with Amare and then David Njoku. I think they have some great weapons. If Deshaun returns to his form, this is going to be a very dangerous team with that defense. But yeah, the Buffalo Bills, they got it done, and this was a much needed win for them because the AFC East was slipping out of their grasp. So good win for them. Moving on to the Philadelphia Eagles beating the Indianapolis Colts 17-16. There was a very spirited celebration after this game by Nick Sirianni because he felt like Frank Reich, which is one of his mentors, shouldn't have been fired. So this meant a little bit extra to him. What did you guys see in this game?
Go ahead, Knife.
No, I'm gonna let you go. I know you have some thoughts on this. So.
What a clown, man! Like Sirianni is such a clown, and like it's not just me as a Cowboys fan saying it. I saw it all over Twitter. Like fans of other teams, analysts, guys who watch. Like this guy, like you are the head coach and you're the leader of that team. You should not be like, and this isn't the first time he's done something like idiotic like this. But turning to the game itself, I didn't, I've been saying this all year. The Eagles are a really good team, very talented, but again, their offense, you can kind of shake it up a little bit, and I don't know if they can sustain some of those shots that you might give them early on. Now they did in this game. They came back. Kudos to them. The Colts have a pretty solid defense, so they were able to come back and win. But I saw a team again that's very beatable. Jonathan Taylor was running on him, like right up the gut too, right on Sue, right on Joseph. So I know they just signed those guys, but that's something I noticed and something to kind of keep an eye on moving forward with the Eagles because they did just barely scrape by here.
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with most of what I said. I mean, Sirianni's a punk. The Eagles definitely look beatable. I think this was another game that the other team just let slip away. It was sort of like the Cardinals game where I thought the other team really had a chance to win. They were. The Colts were running up the gut on Sue and Linval Joseph early, but I felt like they kind of locked in later on, towards the end of the game. And I think they can stop the run going forward. To be honest, especially if they get Jordan Davis back. Are they getting him back this year? I'm not sure. But
maybe.
Yeah, man, they got some run stuffers there. But Sue will give you one. Sue will give you like some unsportsmanlike penalty when you really don't need it. So, they're just a beatable team. That's my takeaway, honestly. If you're barely screeching by the Colts, it's not a good sign for you. So that's what I saw.
Yeah. Some people could have said last week was a divisional game that Washington always gives them trouble. That's not the case. This team wasn't even in their conference. I mean, it shows that they are beatable, like you guys said, and they almost did lose this game, especially against the run. They're very poor. and the Colts could have won this game. So, as a fan of an NFC team, I would have loved to see the Eagles lose. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But moving forward, I think the Eagles are going to be very beatable in the NFC. So we'll see where
Can
it
I
goes
also
from here.
just real quick,
Yeah.
Matt Ryan looked so scared in this game, like terrified, like happy feet, running backwards. Like I think he's done, man. Like I think like mentally the guy is like done because he did not look. He looked like a shell of himself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we'll see. That QB situation in Indianapolis is looking a little rough. I agree. Moving on to the New England Patriots beating the New York Jets 10-3, where not a single offensive touchdown was scored the entire game, and the game was won on a last-minute punt return by a rookie punt returner on the Patriots. What did you guys see in this defensive slugfest?
Bill Belichick working his juju on the New York Jets. I mean, dude, he can't lose. He can't lose to the Jets. It's impossible.
14 straight.
Honestly, I saw
14 straight.
14 straight. And then I saw Zach Wilson, man. I saw his post game. That was a horrible answer, man. You can't say that after just putting up 3 points. I think he said something along the lines that he doesn't feel bad for the defense. I mean, the defense played a heck of a game. There were no offensive touchdowns on both sides for both teams. So, yeah, man, there's just bad quarterback play from the Jets. Bad quarterback play from both teams, to be honest, but Zach Wilson's a bum, man. Okay, he needs to do some going up really quick.
Yeah.
I will let you guys go. I gotta pump some Costco gas real quick, then I'll hop back on.
All right, be back for the game we want to talk about. Roddy, welcome. We were just talking about the New England Patriots beating the New York Jets. Did you see any of this game?
I would never watch such a horrible game with two horrible teams. Why would I do that?
So no. Okay. So yeah, basically, as was mentioned before, this was the 14th straight time that the Patriots beat the New York Jets, and it was just basically the Patriots' domination over the Jets. It just continued, and Belichick has their number. And that's really all there is to it. And until the Jets can prove that they can beat the Patriots, this is going to continue to happen. So we'll go ahead and move on to the New Orleans Saints beating the Los Angeles Rams 27-20. What did you guys see in this game?
I saw Andy Dalton playing like Bengals Andy Dalton. That's what I saw. 3 touchdowns, 260 yards. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Kamara. He had, 80 yards. And the Rams, man, I think it's over, guys. I really think it's over. I thought this team, they might come back, but it's not. If they're losing to the Saints, it's over.
Yeah, let me see if I can. All right, sorry, I had to mute that for the ringing. But yeah, Naif, what did you see in this game?
I saw the Saints finally give the ball to Taysom Hill, and I saw the Saints win another ball game because they featured Taysom Hill. I think Dennis Allen's a big fan of the podcast. I think he finally checked out the last episode, and he went, you know what? I think Naif's right. We're going to feed Taysom Hill the ball. And that's exactly what happened. They fed him the ball, and they won another game. Another thing I saw Matt Stafford suffer a concussion. And it was at that point that I found out that Matt Stafford hasn't been suffering from concussions all year. Yeah, man, bad Rams. More bad Rams. Season's over. Cooper Kupp's out for the year. They're done.
Yeah.
Super Bowl hangover. I think Cody was absolutely right. It's that guy that gets promoted at work and starts taking drugs. That's your Los Angeles Rams, man.
Yeah, I think that they said this is going to be the first Rams losing season in a long time, confirmed now, because they're like 3-8 or something like that.
3-7.
Or they're just 3-7. Okay, well they're probably going to have a losing season at this point, and it's the first in a long time, and you love to see it. As I mentioned before, this team bought a Super Bowl last year. They gave away all their draft picks over the past few years, and they're going to be in for some pain. And as a Seahawks fan, it's something I love to see. As for the Saints, I think they're starting to develop their receivers. Chris Olave is an amazing receiver. Uh, Jarvis Landry came back and had a great game. Juwan Johnson, I think, has 5 straight games with a touchdown now. Um, they're just they're a great team, and I think that they're going to continue to ascend if they continue to use Taysom Hill. And there's an interview after the game with Jameis Winston, who said that his soul hurts because the starting job was taken away from him, and that's the NFL, buddy. That's what happens. You get your job taken away by somebody that's better than you. And as was mentioned before, the best player or the best quarterback on this team isn't Jameis Winston, and it's really not even Dalton for these purposes. It's probably Taysom Hill, and they can just keep running the ball. So,
Disrespect.
moving on to the Detroit Lions beating the New York Giants 31-18. OY, what did you see from the most overrated team in the league?
So I saw the worst 7-2 team in NFL history become the worst 7-3 team in NFL history this week. I saw a team that is really short on talent. That lack of talent really showed up, I think, in this game. I think the Lions, like I said earlier, the Lions are a pretty explosive offense, actually, that I don't think they get enough credit for. And I think, this I would not be surprised if this becomes a trend for the Giants in the latter half of the season. Having said that, I was impressed with, you could see in this game how Brian Daboll is able to maximize his talent just compared to the previous regime when I saw these design runs for Daniel Jones, inside the 10, inside the 5, things that they were doing. That is how they got to this point, but I obviously don't see them continuing with this. And kudos to the Lions. I think, they pushed through and they were able to get one.
Absolutely. Naya for Robin.
Here's what I saw. I saw a guy by the name of Juan Dale Robinson. What a fantastic name. And he's got an apostrophe between the Juan and the Dale. Have the game of his life as a rookie. And then tear his ACL to be out for the year. What a bummer, man.
Yeah.
But
that was very
the Giants, they were exposed. If you're losing to the Lions, sorry. You are who we thought you were.
Exactly.
They are who we thought they were.
Absolutely.
They're scrubs.
Yeah, agreed. Naif, are you done with your set?
No, I was waiting for my take.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man. We spoke about this in depth all year, to be honest. We said the Giants are going to go as far as Saquon Barkley is going to take them. And yesterday was just a game where Saquon Barkley was just completely shut down. So was the rest of the team. The Lions are a much better team than we all think. I mean, at least what their record indicates, they're way better than that. They're going to be good going forward. They're going to give every team they play a run for their money, to be honest. The Giants aren't as good as their record. They're not horrible, but they're not as good as their record. And I think that's the blueprint stopping them or beating them. Just shut down Saquon and they're done.
Guys, this was the Lions' third straight win. They beat the Packers, they beat the Bears, and they beat the Giants. Those are 3 pretty solid wins. Saquon Barkley had less than 20 yards this game. I think, didn't you have 9 or 10 carries for 19 yards or something like that? Ridiculous. I mean, this Lions defense is renewed. This is not the same team that we've been watching all year. The Giants are going to continue to tank. Adoree Jackson, I think, got injured again. You mentioned Wandale Robinson. They had another cornerback that got injured. Oh my God, what is this angle we're getting from Naif working out? I'm going to try to focus here, but this is Brian Daboll's intransigence or just bad personality coming back to bite him because he put all these receivers in the doghouse to start the year, and now that his receivers are getting injured, he only just has Darius Slayton left, essentially. I mean, I don't know who their second and third receiver are. And Brian Daboll needs to focus on having a better relationship with his players. I think that's kind of what's causing this downfall here. Big kudos to the Lions, though. We'll move on to the next game. The Baltimore Ravens beating the Carolina Panthers 13-3. Barely beating this team in a game where there was no offense, and this guy Lamar Jackson, where was he? What happened to Lamar Jackson? Somebody tell me.
Omar, I completely agree with you. I got this guy on 2 fantasy teams. He's a bum. He's not a quarterback. Take back everything I ever said about this guy. He sucks. What more can be said? It's a horrible game from a quarterback's perspective.
What are you talking about? They won the game.
Doesn't matter, man. Listen, my fantasy team suffered. That's all that
Their
really
only
matters.
touchdown. That's
Yeah,
a
he
great
ran.
performance. Are you playing
That's
for
a good-
stats or are you playing for W's?
That's a great performance for a running back. Yeah, he did a great job as a running back. Horrible quarterback play.
I'm going to say what Vin Diesel said
Horrible
in Fast
quarterback
and
play.
Furious 1. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
All right, listen, Mr.
Nice.
Gus.
We're all family.
Yeah. Yeah,
Horrible-
let's get some other Vin
horrible
Diesel
quarterback play.
quotes. But if you win
Yeah.
against the Panthers, it's only like half a win.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing.
Especially
I don't think it's
13-3.
gonna take him far in the playoffs. Yeah, I don't think it's going to take him far in the playoffs, man. It's much closer than it should have. And Baker Mayfield played horrible. The Panthers played horrible. And the Ravens barely won. So it wasn't encouraging for me, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, why?
Bad Ravens, worse Panthers.
Yep.
That's my take.
So I probably wouldn't go as far as I guess you guys are going on Lamar because I do think he was apparently battling illness. That doesn't save you from criticism when you have a bad game. You're on the field. That's what they say. So you sign up for whatever happens. At that point, if you're good enough to play, you're good enough to receive criticism. So he didn't play a great game, and to be fair, this is a game I probably watched the least of this past week. It was horrible, just like incredibly boring. Anytime I don't have to watch Baker Mayfield play, it's a good day. So big picture, I don't see the Ravens as like a division winner. I know they have a game lead on the Bengals, I think right now, but the Bengals are a much better team, and I think we'll probably get to them later. I see Cincinnati winning this division, and I see the Ravens being kind of like a lower wild card type team. That's kind of like my big picture takeaway from this game.
Yeah.
Hold on. Did you say he was playing with an illness?
Huh?
He was playing with an illness?
He was sick, apparently. That's what they said.
With what? With cholera? Because he was playing like absolute dog shit, man. Horrible.
No, I'm not defending it. I'm not defending his play. I'm just saying that I'm not ready to say that he sucks as a player. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I just wanted to say he looked like doo-doo. That's all.
Yeah. I like that comparison. Yeah.
That's fine.
I can't wait until the Ravens play a legit team to expose them because they keep winning these close games against these bad teams, and I can't wait for them to get exposed. I have no belief in this team, so that's all I have to say about that. And the Panthers are barely an NFL team. So moving on to the Washington Commanders beating the Houston Texans 23-10. Commanders are now 6-5, and every team in the NFC East has a winning record. What did y'all see?
So I want to go on record here. I was talking to a coworker of mine who's a Commanders fan, and I told him before the game, I said that I think you guys are going to finish higher than the Giants, and I stick to that. I think the Commanders will end the season with a better record than the Giants. I think they're top to bottom. I think they're a better team. They're more talented. Neither one of them really have quarterbacks, but I think that Washington defense is playing better recently, especially that interior defensive line. But I think they also have weapons on offense at the skill positions, the running backs, the receivers, and the Giants don't. Outside of Saquon, the Giants don't have any of that. So I'm not that surprised by the Commanders playing this or kind of going on, getting a little hot recently. The only part of it that I think surprises me is that they're doing it with pretty much no quarterback. But Taylor Heineke is a nice story, but I still don't believe in the guy at all. So we'll see how far. They're going to have to be a very defensive-oriented team. And for Houston, there's really nothing to say. They're obviously taking for a quarterback, so it's whatever.
Yeah. Naya Ferrodi.
Go ahead, Nair.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback on what Oi said, that interior run defense is for real, man. They made Pierce look horrible. He couldn't get any running room all day, and that's the Texans' only chance of putting up points on the board. To be honest, I think they did themselves in early on with that pick six. I think it was like on one of the first plays of the first offensive plays of the game for the Texans, and it was over from there. It was a wrap. Texans, the Commanders are pretty good, man. They're also a quarterback away, in my opinion. That's what I saw.
Yeah.
Saw a team that could make the playoffs.
Guys, the Commanders are 6-5. They have a winning record.
Yeah.
This team has beaten some good teams, man. Do not doubt this team. Now, do I think they're going to do anything? No. Do I think they'll ever do anything? No. But they're a good team.
Yeah.
And the Texans, I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. The Texans might be the second best team in Texas right now.
Might be.
Close.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that they definitely are the second best team for sure. They might be the third best team after like the University of Texas. Commanders 6-5. They got Antonio Gibson involved in the run game. I have to say, I was really high on Brian Robinson coming into this season, and he came back like pretty soon, and he doesn't look like the same player, to be honest. He was very explosive before the shooting accident, and he's very slow now. Or I don't know if he doesn't trust whatever they did to repair his legs, but I feel bad because he's not moving well. On the other side, you're right. Dameon Pierce got completely stopped. He ran for like less than 20 yards as well. And if he doesn't run, then the Texans have no chance. Hopefully he rebounds next week. But this was, a case of the Commanders getting a bad team at a right time for them. They have a lot of momentum now. I think they're a very scary team. And when Chase Young comes back, around the NFL is trying to get their defensive line combo to be called Young and Sweaty, Chase Young and Montez Sweat. But Kyle Fuller, that pick six was huge. And Commanders are, I don't know if you guys as Cowboys fans are worried about the Commanders in this capacity. I think you're right. They don't have a quarterback at this point, and that's really the one thing that's probably going to hold them back from making any kind of anything past the wild card, I think. So, moving on.
They don't have a quarterback, and they have little bro syndrome when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. So we're not worried about that.
Okay, enough said. Moving on to the Las Vegas Raiders beating the Denver Broncos 22-16 in a game that both teams were trying to give away. Literally, Melvin Gordon kept fumbling the ball. They cut him today. This was painful to watch. These teams are so average. What'd you guys see?
I yield my time to Knife. Knife can have all my time about the Raiders.
All right.
Another week, man. Another week. Another Raiders win. Derek Carr. Derek Carr. This guy sucks, man. That's what I saw. This guy sucks. Devontae Adams who carried him there towards the end of the game. I wonder what it would look like without Devontae Adams. Honestly. Like, what would they be? 0-9? 0-10?
They'd be a sinking pirate ship.
I really feel bad for Devontae Adams. I really feel bad that he has to put up like 150 yards and 2 TDs to get an overtime win.
Yeah.
And to have like 3 total wins on the season. But, I mean, that comes with the territory of having Derek Carr as your quarterback. Because it's just horrible. That's what I saw. But I also saw some bad play from the Broncos. I mean, hasn't been a good year for Russ. Maybe they need a new head coach. I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be working there in Denver. Maybe it's the air. It's that rarefied air. Who knows, man? Yeah. But yeah, Derek Carr sucks. Russ sucked too. That's all I saw.
Yeah.
Oh, did I mention that Derek Carr sucks?
You did. The winner.
Yeah.
Derek Carbs.
Yeah. He's not a winner. He's never been a winner.
He
That
went.
whole family is a bunch
He,
of losers.
well, he did beat the Broncos, but Roddy, what did you see?
Guys, why are we even talking about this game, man? Like, seriously, bro. This is one of those games where you just say, the Raiders beat the Broncos. Okay, great. Let's move on. Like, 3, 7 teams playing against each other. It doesn't matter. At this point of the season, this should be like, whatever. Let's just move on. That's how I feel about this game.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. Nobody watched it. Guarantee you, nobody watched it. Okay.
I think the good people of Las Vegas and Denver had this games by force on their television, but
I
yeah.
mean, look, man, the people of Denver. I've been to Denver. Okay, no offense, but what a shithole. Honestly, it's what.
No. Okay. Listen. The thoughts of Roddy do not reflect this entire podcast. Just Roddy. Alma, what did you see?
So I saw more of the same as far as Denver goes, or more of what we've seen most of the year. Saw a really interesting stat. So I don't remember the exact numbers, but the top 4 scoring defenses in terms of the lowest points allowed per game. So it's the Cowboys, and we're 7-3, and then I think it's the 49ers and somebody else. They're all at 16, 17 points a game, and they're all at like 7-3, 6-4, something like that. And then you have the Denver Broncos in there. They're 3-7, guys. Like this is embarrassing. This is an elite defense. Surtain might already be the best cornerback in the league. I think the way that they scheme, the way that they play is really impressive on defense, especially because of how bad the offense is. This is like 98% on the offense. If you want to, include Nathaniel Hackett, if you want to include Russell Wilson, like whatever. But this is almost entirely on the offense, and I'm gonna put most of that on Hackett. I know Russell has played like horrible, but I think he still deserves some time given his history. The guy on the hot seat, or pretty much close to being like thrown off the ledge at this point, is Hackett. I just don't see how he survives, no matter how the rest of the season goes. Unless they run the table, I don't see him surviving as the head coach.
Yeah.
Omar, I don't know what you mean about best cornerback. He gave up like 150 yards to Devontae Adams. I mean, he messed up against.
I know, but you know what? That's like you're talking like best on best at that point, man. I don't fault him for that. I get it. But the thing is, like, he's still young, man. He's like in his second season.
He's gonna be amazing. He's fair. He already is.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on the Hackett point. I think he brings no stability to this team. I don't really think he knows what he's doing. I will concede the Broncos have had really bad running back luck with Javonte going down and Melvin Gordon continuing to fumble. Now they're relying on Latavius Murray. I think Cortland Sutton is a great receiver, and Russ. There's no beating around the bush at this point. He has regressed. I mean, it's been like 10, 11 weeks now. I am still, of course, willing to give him more time, but he's undoubtedly regressed from what he was in Seattle. And the Raiders, like Naif mentioned, this was a Devontae game. I mean, without Devontae, they don't win this game. He was the best player on that field today, and that's why the Raiders won, in my opinion. Moving on to the game you've been waiting for, the Dallas Cowboys beat the Minnesota Vikings 40-3. I'm not going to say anything else. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Naif. This is you, man.
The Minnesota Vikings will go 14-2 and win the Super Bowl this year. I guarantee it.
They're 17 games, man. They played 17 games now.
I just want to let you guys know something. Okay? I know you Cowboys fans are all happy, and everybody's throwing away that the Vikings are going to do anything. I understand everybody's all giddy and happy. Okay? Oh yeah, they lost 40-3. Oh my God, it's over. They were exposed. Bollocks. Absolute bollocks. Let me take you back, okay? Let me take you back to the 2018 New England Patriots, the Super Bowl winning 2018 Patriots. Guess what? They lost 34-10 to the Tennessee Titans. Oh, there's just one year. Oh, that's not going to happen again. What are you talking about? Let me take you back to the 2016
That's a fan through and through. All right, Cowboys fans, what do you guys get to say?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Knife.
I mean, I think Lilly's right. A dead clock is a clock can be alive, and the Vikings clock is ticking, tick, 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 tick. They got 37 seconds left. 37. 37. 37.
Oh, that was the margin of
37
victory.
seconds.
Look at his analysis. This just tells you that he's shaking. He doesn't know what to say.
I told you the Cowboys would win. I told you last week when I had the Vikings fourth or third on my power rankings. I said fourth with the Cowboys, and they're gonna surpass the Vikings after they beat them next week. I didn't see a 37-point victory, but I guess I didn't think the Vikings were that bad. They're horrible. They're not as good as their record is. They're I think they fell from third place in my power rankings to like ninth. I think they had the worst drop of any team in my power rankings. They don't have a quarterback, man. They don't have a receiver. I thought they had the best receiver, but then he went up against the best cornerback in the world. And now we all know that Justin Jefferson is Trayvon Diggs' son. Man, we just ran a train. I don't know what to tell you, Lily. I want to gloat. I want to sit here and gloat. But it sucks, especially coming off the loss to the Packers, because that was a winnable game. But I think we just saw the best team in the NFC, and I don't think anybody wants to play the Cowboys.
Oh, wow.
That's what I said.
So I'll say this. So the NFL relocated the Bills-Lions game, or the Bills-Cleveland game, to Detroit. I think the Cowboys relocated this game to blowout city. They took the Vikings to blowout city. And I'm actually going to disagree with Naif about one thing. I do think Minnesota is actually a good team. And I think that that's what makes this win very impressive. Like, even if they had just won, like, 24-20 or something, that would have been impressive in and of itself. But to really go out there and blow them out like that was extremely impressive. It's the most impressive win we've had in a while. And I think it speaks to, hopefully, the Cowboys are getting hot at the right time and starting to click. Thanksgiving is, Bill Parcells said, you don't really know who you are until Thanksgiving. That's when you set yourself up to start making a run for the postseason. I'm hoping that what we're seeing, I think that this win puts us in the conversation as being one of the best teams in the conference, like a top team in that conference. And I don't really think it discounts the Vikings either. I still think the Vikings are a good team. I just think they got showed up today, to be quite honest with you. And yeah, man, like everybody was clicking. Dak was on fire. Tony Pollard was on fire. Our offensive line was kicking ass today. Or I'm sorry, kicking butt. I know there might be kids watching this, but yeah, I think this was a statement win. For the Cowboys, it's the most impressive win they've had in a while. So, I that's kind of my big takeaway.
Before you start, Amar, okay? First of all, Amar Yusuf, I don't like how reasonable your analysis was, because I was about to shoot back with some very, very hard words. And after you saying that, this is going to discount what I'm about to say. But it doesn't matter, because I'm going to say it anyway. Okay? Now, let me remind you of the 1992 Dallas Cowboys. Wow, this team was amazing, right? They beat the 49ers in the conference championship. They beat the Bills. Oh, my God, the dynasty has started. There's no way that this team got blown out in week 5 of that season. Yes, they did. It doesn't mean anything. The Cowboys will win the Super Bowl. I mean, the Vikings.
Thank you. Listen, man, we don't want to gloat. I mean, it's a normal thing for the Cowboys to beat the Vikings. We beat you in Minnesota last year. We beat you in Minnesota the year before. It's becoming a yearly theme. It's almost like you play in our division. We face you once a year in Minnesota, and we kick your butts. We beat you with Andy Dalton. We beat you with Cooper Rush. And now Dak just massacred you. And Omar, I think it's okay to see ass, because if anybody saw this game, then they witnessed a murder live on TV.
Wow. Yeah.
Hey, you look like you're about to commit a murder on live TV with that outfit. I just want to say you look like
I'm gonna murder you. Okay? I'm gonna murder you. That's just gonna happen.
Whoa! No murder talk, fellas. No murder talk. But yeah, I mean, so it's crazy. The NFL is a crazy league, man. You can go from beating the Bills at Buffalo to losing to Dallas by 37 at home. Some might say this was a game where the Vikings were celebrating too much after winning that game. They went on the plane and you had Kirk Cousins celebrating and all that kind of stuff. And that could have been it. Maybe it was just like a big letdown for them, but there's no doubt Dallas is a very, very strong team. And yeah, and on the opposite end, the Packers beating the Cowboys the week before, and then what happened to the Packers this week? They lost to the Titans 27-17. It's a crazy league. But my biggest takeaway from this game is that Tony Pollard is the MVP of the Cowboys, and I tried to say this for a long time, but he is absolutely the best player on that team. He is a game changer for that team, and I hope they continue to use him as much as possible. Zeke is great for short yardage stuff, and that's how he got both of his touchdowns. But utilize Zeke as both a pass catcher and a running back because he is excellent. We'll go ahead and move on to the last game. The Cincinnati Bengals beating the Pittsburgh Steelers 37-30. As I hear Naif grunting while he's doing his leg squats. What did you guys see in this game?
We hope that's what he.
Naif, you have your hand raised here. So what do you have to say?
So I saw.
Okay, Omar. One of you guys. I think the line is cutting out, but one of you guys go ahead.
I was gonna say, man, what a great matchup of great uniforms. At least that's I was just saying about combinations, but yeah, man, divisional game. These are always tough. I think they were playing in Pittsburgh too, right? And I think head to head, I think Cincinnati's a much better team. I think they're the best team in that division. I think they're going to take that division. And that's another team that I think could start rolling at the right time. They were earlier in the season, they were a little up and down, but we've seen Joe Burrow kind of catch fire recently. I would keep an eye on Joe Mixon and see if he's healthy, since he's a big part of that offense. But guys, they didn't have Jamar Chase, for the past 2 weeks, and he's coming back too. So I think that's a team that I would keep an eye on. And the Steelers, man, it's weird because they almost are always in it. So it's a little weird to see them not being a good team, but that's really what they are. They're just not a good team. They're not going to make the playoffs. Tomlin is likely going to have his first losing season as a head coach. So I'd be interested to see how they respond to that next year.
Indeed. I gotta say, I'm a little winded from that rant from the previous game. So
you looked up. You had some great stats. I like that.
I appreciate that. Joe Burrow proved this game that he can actually win without his star receiver. The Bengals, they looked really good in this game. I can't believe the Steelers scored 30 points. That's insane to me. But can we talk about Samaje Perine?
Pirine.
Nah, he's Perine to me. You know why?
All right.
Samaje Perine, because he played serene, and he looked good, man. He was there. He had three receiving touchdowns, and he was the leading rusher. This game is all about this guy. I never heard of this guy in my entire life. Is he even a starter? What is he, a practice squad guy? Who knows? Who is this individual?
He's been their backup for a few years.
And he showed out, baby. And the Bengals, they proved that they will be a team that goes to the playoffs and lose the first game again.
Again. After the Super Bowl, yeah. Naif, what do you have to
say?
The
Super Bowl, bro.
Maybe you mean like years before last year, they would be like one and done, yeah. Naif, what do you got?
A dead clock is right twice a day.
Yeah. I mean, Omar, what can I say? I didn't really get to watch much of this game until they took the Vikings-Cowboys game off TV during the fourth quarter because, the game was over after 3 quarters. So I only caught the tail end of this game. But I saw a few highlights. Samaje Perine feasted. I think they were trying to give him his turn after Mixon scored 5 TDs last week. But I mean, it was closer than it should have been against a really weak Steelers team. So I don't know. I mean, the divisional games are always close, but I don't know, man. I'm not too amped about this Bengals performance, to be honest. But yeah, maybe they can put it together going forward. But I'm not looking too much into this.
The Steelers.
Did I mention them?
No, you're here.
Did I mention the Cowboys beat the Vikings by 37 points?
I think once or twice.
Yeah, that's it.
Pretty crazy, man. You'd think that the Cowboys, they didn't have a game where they only scored 3 points this season. You'd think that.
Well, as far as the Steelers go, I was impressed by the fight that they put in this game. Pickens continues to be a really good receiver. I thought Najee Harris had a pretty good game. Jalen Warren got injured and left the game. That's like pretty bad news for them if he can't come back. T.J. Watt had a really good interception in this game as well. I think as they get some of their defensive players back, they can be like formidable. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they can be like a berserker team that like upsets a lot of teams. As far as the Bengals go, I think Zach Taylor is really like elevating himself as an offensive mind to be able to pivot to Samaje Perine when they were focusing on Joe Mixon was very impressive. The way that they've been able to integrate T. Higgins, who is actually an incredible receiver and would be a number one on like almost any other team, is really impressive. Tyler Boyd is really good. They also have another guy, this white guy with long hair that caught a touchdown for them. I forget his name. But Zach Taylor is becoming very good at integrating all of his players. And I think the Bengals as an offensive team are very, very scary. So, guys, that concludes the NFL Week 11 recap roundtable. I want to thank Omar Yusuf, Naif, and Arodi here. This has been you're raising your hand, Naif. What do you have to say?
We're not going to talk about the Chargers and the Chiefs?
No, because I have to go.
Oh, okay.
But we can talk about them in the Pick'em show next week. But I want to thank you all for tuning in here. Please follow this podcast on Instagram at football_v_football. Like I mentioned last time, we have a lot of cool reels to help with also fantasy sports as well. We also cover the other kind of football during the World Cup. I think you might enjoy that as well. Follow us on Twitter. We're still working on that blue check mark from Elon. We're trying to get a discount from $8 to $4. We're trying to get a 50% discount. We'll see if that works. Watch this on YouTube. You can also listen to it on Apple Podcasts now and Spotify and Anchor, and you can support it on Ko-fi. So this has been the Football v Football podcast. Omar Yusuf, Naif Fahed in the gym, Ar-Radi. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great day, football fans.